We have him on the line. Finally, Mr. Joel Smallbone, the man himself, the man we have a thousand questions for on the line of the fact that we've got Unsung Hero finally hitting the cinemas across Australia on May 30th. Now, Joel, I was able to be there last year in September, hanging out with your mum and dad. Big shout out to Helen and David. What wonderful, wonderful godly couple they are. And your dad, just he is just, let him go. I just was like, hand him the microphone, stand back and watch the magic happen with your dad there. But we got to see a pre-release version of the film, scratch music in it, rough edits, time codes in the corner there. Very, very blessed to be there with your family and watching it. Has there been a lot of changes since we saw it in September to what we're going to be seeing on the big screens this month?
Man, I will say that was very early. I remember hearing about it, across the pond over here and calling our producer and going like, why? How did they get a screener all the way down there? But I will say this equally, honestly, it was a real defining moment because you were some of literally the first people in the world to picture, and I couldn't have thought of a more thrilling and really beautiful serendipitous moment for mum and dad than to see it. It's such an origin story for them. And for those who don't know, this is really an Aussie film. It's a 90s film, circles around mums and miracles and music and family. And it's our dad, who was a concert promoter and lost everything. And mum and he decided to pack 16 suitcases and 6 kids, and she was 6 months pregnant, and move halfway around the world to Nashville, which is where we are now, and start over. And then he lost his job here, and it's sort of all the tragedies and triumphs they faced along the way. And so to be able to play it, for you, and just the response, I remember just hearing back from them, just how moved they were to experience it with you. And I feel like we're right on the precipice of having that happen all over again. The premiere on the 13th, Daisy Betts, who plays our mum, is going to be there. And then, us playing this homecoming show, and then the release, in cinemas across the country on the 30th. Like, it's really just I don't know, DJ, I don't know if I can put into words the sort of the mind bender that it all is. And excited at the same time. It feels very providential in many ways.
Well, Joel, let me pop the mood for you, because I'm a cynical old radio DJ here. And when I heard about this project, I'm like, wait. Joel is playing his dad. What type of weirdo thing is going on here with the Smallbones? Is this some sort of vanity project? What are they doing? It sort of came out of nowhere. And I went in there, and I got to be honest with you, Christian movie, band project. He's starring in himself. I'm like, whatever. I was so cynical. I'm going in there going, this is going to be, what are they doing here? Is this going to be the one long promotion for something? Within an hour into the film, I'm like trying to wipe away a tear from my eye because I'm a manly man. I'm like, it's not affecting me. There's just some dust in there. I look around. Everybody in the viewing is, and again, there was a lot of your family members there, but I'm looking at hardened radio jocks. I'm looking at the CEOs in the company. Tears are pouring down everybody's face, and I was like, Joel, he's done it. They've done it again. They've got me. They've sucked me right in there. Amazing job. What was the process for you in going, right, I'm going to play my dad? That is so crazy.
Well, DJ, you know what I love? Look, Australia's a land of underdogs, right?
Yeah.
And I love all the things you said were sort of part of the reasons that I thought this is a really novel idea. Because I was like, okay, I love Australian movies. Like, I love Crocodile Dundee, and I love Australia, and I love an underdog story, and I love my parents. And, we've told their story for years as sort of a pay it forward for King and Country during the show, particularly for child advocacy. And we had so many people come and say, well, you should write a book. And we joke, we're homeschooled, so we don't read or write very well, so we'll make a movie instead. But from the moment Luke came up with the idea to turn it into a motion picture, I literally had the thought, well, it'd be really interesting to play Dad. I've done some acting. I'm bone of his bone. But the pothole, we've had to navigate this pothole our entire time as creatives. And that is, you can't work with family and tell stories about family.
Yes.
And you have to call it for what it is and know the potholes that you can potentially step in. At the same time, we've always prescribed to this idea in music that the closer we get to our own heart with the creativity, the further it reaches out into your heart. And this is about as literally close to home as a film can possibly get. And so it's funny in hindsight, you go, well, that was sort of a terrifying prospect to play dad.
Yeah.
But I'm really deeply proud because, again, this is not about Luke and me. This is not about For King Country. This is about our sister, Rebecca and James. This is about our mum and dad and their courageous leap across continents. And to bring those types of stories to life, I'm here for it, man. I really am.
And again, it was such a blessing to hang out with your mum and dad. And the day after seeing that in on the Gold Coast, at the screening there with the family, early in the morning, I'm doing the breakfast show live from the venue. They come in and they grace me with their presence, and they're like, "Hey, we'll come and hang out." We were having a great old time. I'm trying to interview them. And, and go through the mind-bending process of like, your son is playing you, you've got this actress playing you, Helen, what is going on here? But I tell you, the moments, and they shared something, they said, because it's a movie, the darker times feel a little bit darker than what we remember it. Helen your mum was saying, it's a stylized version of what David was going through in that process. And I had to turn around and say to them, well, thank God, because, again, not wanting to give any spoilers there, but when you're playing your father at his lowest, tide there, the lowest part of his life, he can't get out of bed. His family feels lost to him. That's when the tears break forward to me. And I was like, I felt so convicted because I had been through those times and I was worrying that I had let my family down. But to see the way that you have played it out, because you went so personal, because you went so vulnerable, I tell you, God has been able to use that to speak to so many people. So thank you so much for doing that.
Well, thank you, DJ. And look, what's been cool about this project is I love ensembles. I love the cast. I love teams. And to see, John Lott from Lost or Terry O'Quinn or DJ Tanner from Full House, Candace Camberay, to see Lucas Black from the Fast and Furious franchise, see Lionsgate put in thousands of theaters over here and make it the #2 movie in America a couple of weeks ago. It's just been it's been the most audacious project that we've ever done. It's been the most we've actually probably risked as well, which makes these moments all the sweeter because this is the point, right? This is the point of art, is to tell stories. It's the point of the human experience. From the beginning of time, we've been telling stories and parables and sharing, and this is how we relate to one another. And so to be able to bring this down once again and on the 30th and put it in cinemas and and it's been really cool to see mum and dad too. It's not quite, it's obviously not a glory project. Dad's dealing with some hard things in it, but it's certainly an honor project. And to be able to see them and him through the vulnerability of the film actually feel loved by it in a weird way. It's just been, as a son, it's been very, very eye-opening for me on a lot of levels.
Joel, one of the things that occurs to me, and there's lots of obviously mum moments in the film, but lots of couples wouldn't have survived. They would have sat through what your mum and dad went through and they wouldn't have survived as a couple. What have you and Mariah taken from your mum and dad in your own marriage that helps you during difficult times?
Well, Kel, there's nothing like, living out their dropping into his shoes, literally, or more specifically, putting on his jacket. That was his jacket from 30 years ago. To go, okay, I felt this as a sort of a young chap, and it was an adventure for me. Like we said, Fel, we were playing cricket in the house, and and breaking leaves and getting out of school, and this was awesome. And then to flip the script literally and go, okay, the fear, the pride, the insecurity, the need to provide. I've been able to absorb that into our partnership as with marriage with Mariah. We just celebrated 10 years. And I think it has been really indicating, obviously we're yet to be parents, so we're doing a different dance. But I think the thing that has highlighted to me the most, Fel, is that the one institution that God gave humanity was marriage.
Yeah.
And you even drop into sort of the Jesus story, and this man is, the first thing he does is turn water into wine at a wedding, and he uses this bride and groom analogy all the time throughout his time on earth, and so you can tell it's important to him, and even down to like what it looks like to see each other's dreams come into fruition. You know, one of the things I love about this story is Mum was living out her dream. She wanted to have a great big family. It's sort of and yet she saw in her spouse that his dream wasn't realized. And so she literally, as an unsung hero, goes to the ends of the earth for him to realize his dreams, because she was living out hers. And how cool is that as spouses to go, I want you to be the fullest, most bright, glorious version of yourself. And I will go to the ends of the earth and sacrifice so much to make that happen.
Yes.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful.
What a great picture of marriage.
Yeah, great picture of marriage. Great example to lead into. Listen, the other thing we're really excited about coming up very shortly is finally the next tour down here. From you and Luke, bringing everybody down here on the back of the movie. Very important time. We need to say thank you on behalf of the whole Vision family, because we've been able to give away a whole group of family passes and family tickets. To and again, I know this is down the chain. I know you're not sitting there yourself signing them off, from your desk or anything like that. But we approached you. We had a mum ring up and say, "Listen, we would love to go." Now she has 8 children, and there's the two of them, 10 altogether, and we were giving away tickets for 4 family passes of 4. And I said, you know what? I'm going to push my luck here. If there's anybody who's going to give away tickets to a big family to come to a concert, it's going to be the Smallbones. And praise God, you guys have been able to give tickets to a whole family to come along there and see the gig. So what can people expect from the show that when they come and see the tour as it goes around Australia?
Well, it's been 5 years. And by the way, I think it's beautiful that we were able to do that together, and how appropriate with it, telling this story about a family of 7 to pay it forward to a family of 8. And thank you to you and your team for having the vision, if you will,
nicely done.
to enact that. But when we came down in 2019, I can say this candidly now because it was such a beautiful time, but we were sort of shaking in our boots a little bit, DJ, Fel, because we were like, there's a prophet welcome in his own home, and we came down and we just felt so loved. And from the moment we almost got on the plane leaving Australia, we're like, we got to come back as soon as possible. And then obviously it goes without saying, the pandemic hit and plans were thwarted. But even when we started talking about this again, we were like, all right, this is the homecoming. Like, we're bringing everything and we're bringing everyone. We're bringing 90 instruments. We're bringing 9 of us on stage. We're bringing the curtains falling from the ceilings, and we're bringing this movie. And so what I'd say is, like, you're going to get the full For King and Country experience. It's pained me over the years as someone who loves visuals and loves environments and loves storytelling to not be able, you've seen it on Instagram, to not be able to bring you the full picture. And so I've been saying from the team from the moment we booked this, like, we got to go big or go home, or literally go big and go home.
That's right.
Like, let's bring everything. And so we can't wait. And from 2 to 82, this is a film for the family, and this is a show for the whole family. So more For King Country that you can handle coming up here.
We'll get our fill. We'll get our fill. Listen, I know you guys have got to run, but before you do, we just need to say, the connection, or maybe you don't know the connection between our CEO Phil Edwards and your dear mum and dad. Yeah. It's funny to watch the film with him, one of the most stoic people I've ever met, and he's breaking down and crying during the film. But those early scenes of the Striper gigs, those early scenes of the Amy Grant concert, he's looking at us going, I was right there. I was standing there. I was helping putting on those shows. So it goes without saying that we here, the family at Vision, we consider you guys like extended family. While you're here, the door is wide open. We'd love to have you here. We know that you're going to be very busy, but if you find yourself in southeast Queensland with twiddling your thumbs, we'd love to put on a barbecue for you. We'd love to make you some Vegemite on toast. We'd love to pull out the Tim Tams, whatever we can do to bribe you and the family to come on in. We'll do it here at Vision for you.
Oh, thank you, DJ. Thank you, Fel. Look, and what's fascinating is you mentioned that. You mentioned Phil. I literally got a link to sort of his synopsis of the movie like last week and was sort of reading through it. And so what a full circle, closed loop moment all this is. And hey, if the opportunity presents itself, I would love to take you up on that. I've literally sat at a meeting this morning and they went through all the details of the trip. And so we'll see how we get on. But
just get your get a red pen and just put Fel DJ somewhere in the mix there. Put it higher on the priority list, and we'll.
You got it.
Bless you heaps. We are so stoked for the tour. We are so stoked for the movie. Joel, send your love out to the rest of the family, and thank you so much for the ministry that you're doing.
Thank you, DJ. Thank you, Fel. We'll see you down under.